They say university makes students, here students make university. So with the slogan of Think Big, I, Himanshi Kaushik, your host of the day, would like to welcome you all in today's webinar on neurorobotics in neurorehabilitation. I know this topic is a little new for everyone, and as this is the new topic, we are all excited to know more about it, to know more about the introduction to neurorobotics and robotics in neurorehabilitation, and what our robotic rehabilitation trainings are, and what can be the ethical considerations and future directions of the topic. So before we move on to the topic, I hope that you all are doing good, safe, sound, and happy. And for this topic, we are joined by Dr. Piyush Bhardwaj, who is an assistant professor from Department of Physiotherapy, School of Allied Medical Sciences, Lovely Professional University. He is a magnetic personality who has having a lot more of experience in the education domain as a teacher, and not only this, he has also conducted good amount of webinars and seminars of national and international repute. So he will be actually helping us to know a lot more about this particular topic. And before I request sir to take over the screen, I want all the participants to know that you can post your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A box, or at the end of the session, you can raise your hand as well so that we can allow you to talk to our expert directly. And with this, sir, I welcome you in the session, and over to you, sir, and looking forward for an amazing session.
Thank you, Himanshi. Thank you very much. So welcome everyone and to this webinar. So as you know, this is a new topic, neurorobotics and neurorehabilitation. And as I have been introduced, I am Dr. Piyush Bhardwaj from Physiotherapy Department, and I work as an assistant professor in Lovely Professional University. So before starting, I would like to say that this is an emerging and topic in the all over the world, like neurorobotics, and its application in neurorehabilitation department is quite new. So we are going to talk about it today. So first, we must know what is robotics. So as you can see, there is a good robot on the side, and we always relate to this image, so I have kept it here. So the word robot first appeared actually in 1921 in a science fiction play titled Rossum's Universal Robot, written by chess author Karl Popek. It derives from the chess word robota, meaning hard workers. So robots are always hard workers. So they are known for that, and they are quite dedicated for that. So from this, the term robotics came. And the Robot Institute of America defined a robot as a programmable. You can program it anytime. Multifunctional, doesn't do one function, it does multi-function. It's a manipulator, multifunction manipulator designed to move material, parts, or specialized devices through variable program motion for performance of a variety of tasks. So there's some key terms here like multifunction manipulator. It can do many functions, but it can also manipulate that, and it's always designed to move material part or do any specific task in a program motion. That is very important. Like here's a program it follows. It doesn't do anything on its own without AI. Now AI is coming up. Otherwise, there's a particular program which it follows. Now, let's talk about neurorobotics. Neurorobotics is referred to the branch of science combining neuroscience, robotics, and artificial intelligence. So it has three components: neuroscience, robotics, and AI, artificial intelligence. AI is coming up worldwide. So we use AI in neurorobotics a lot. I will tell you about it later. It hence refers to all robots developed for interacting with or for emulating the nervous system of humans or other animals. So the robotics application is applied over humans and animals. It actually emulates, it gives more kind of an enhancement to the nervous system, and to make it much better in a way it is, or we can also manage the deceased person to it, because if any injury has happened or anything has happened due to which nervous system is not working, we can basically make use of neurorobotics so that the person or the patient can do better in his life. So neurorobot can be developed for clinical purposes. For example, neurorehabilitation, neurosurgeries are there, or for studying the nervous system by emulating its properties as it occurs. So this is neurorobotics. So now you know difference between robotics and neurorobotics. Neurorobotics is just a program they follow and they do tasks. In neurorobotics, we are using with neural networks. We are using for humans and animals. There's an application of robot over the nervous system of animals and humans. Now there is a confusion of robots and electromechanical devices. So it has to be understood that a robot is capable of performing a variety of tasks. This adaptability is based on its onboard sensors. Its onboard sensors, the signals of which are processed by artificial intelligence to change the behavior of the robot. And the fundamental point differentiating robots from electromechanical device is the adaptability of the operation. So basically, the one major difference between electromechanical device and robot has come up as its adaptability. Like it adapts with the system, with the environment, with human, animal, or anything. It has a tendency to adapt its nature. But electromechanical devices, they don't have that adaptation capability. Okay, so whatever devices you see, for example, any mechanical device, for example, a toaster at your home, it's electromechanical device. It doesn't have AI. It doesn't adapt the situation. Okay, it doesn't raise the heat automatically. It doesn't decrease the heat automatically without the human's command. So it follows one thing, one program. It doesn't have any AI, but robot always have an AI, and it always has the capability of adaptation with the environment and the situation. So basic difference between robot and electromechanical. Now, what is neurorehabilitation? Neurorehabilitation is a set of measures that assist individuals who experience disability achieve and maintain optimal functioning and interaction with their environment. So basically in neurorehabilitation, neuro like nervous, neurological disorders, we deal with it, and rehabilitation is to bringing back person back to his own life as it was. So like if any deceased person due to any injury or any kind of disorder is not cannot perform his daily tasks or anything related to his home course or any official work which he usually used to do before the injury or before any impairment which has happened. So this rehabilitation protocols actually help him to get back to the normal life. When we talk about from neural perspective or neurological disorder perspective, this becomes neurological rehabilitation or neurorehabilitation. So we are using neurorobotics, the robots which were made for interaction with the human, animals, and the nervous system in neurorehabilitation. So now you may be clear about neurorobotics and neurorehabilitation and their combination. Now, let me go to the next slide. So basically comparison between machine and human opportunities and limitation. So before going further, we must understand that what are the pros and cons of machine and human and how they can actually benefit from each other, machine and human both. So machine pros it has accurate assessment of physical measures within a wide range of variability. Detection of physical measures undetectable to humans, like machine can do accurate measurements which humans cannot. Definitely detection of physical measures undetectable to human, example electromagnetic waves. We can't see electromagnetic, we can't feel electromagnetic, but they can actually quantify the electromagnetic waves. We use apparatus for that. Speed, accuracy, power is more in them, and memory storage facility is always there. Then endurance with accuracy over repetitive tasks. They can perform repetitive tasks with long endurance. They don't get tired. Humans tend to get tired. Then reliability, they are more reliable compared to humans. Possible use in dangerous environment. Whenever there is any kind of flood situation, anything, you used to see that robots are taking. Yeah, we used to take benefits from the robots in that situation where we can't reach, robots reach. For example, moon. Robots has reached the moon. Okay, even humans have, but robots are more easily accessible there. Now, in human have high level cognitive processing and flexibility. They have more degrees of freedom. They have accuracy in the execution of complex sensory motor tasks, communication irrespective of body language, and they have insight. So one of the cons for the machine is that we need to know the coded language. They don't work on a normal language. We can't speak to machine in normal language. We need to learn coding to so that we can interact with machine. But for humans, we don't require coding. We can normally communicate, and they have high level of cognitive processing and flexibility. Like even though the robots are more smarter, but at some point they can't do a wide variety of tasks that humans do. And they have more degrees of freedom. Robots have less degree of freedom. They are limited to what their programs are, but humans are not. They can think beyond. Now, accuracy in the execution of complementary sensory motor tasks. So whatever complex tasks are there, they can be easily executed by humans compared to a machine. Now machines are getting involved, no doubt in that. But the thing is that even now, many kind of complex sensory motor tasks are well performed, are well executed by humans compared to a machines. So as we can see that the drawbacks of machine are actually pros of humans. So where the machines are lacking, humans have came, and where the humans are lacking, machines have came. So basically, we can benefit by holding hands of each other, machines and human together. Neither machine can sustain alone, neither human can sustain alone if they want a proper like proper advancement in life, and proper rehabilitation protocol can be provided by interaction of these two. Now, if we talk about neurorobot, so there are many scientists who have came with their own conclusions. So like Wolbach et al. Has said that these are the ideal features of neurorobot. First is there should be high mechanical compliance, ability to assist patient in completing desired movements, minimum assistance level. So on three bases, it has decided that it has been like the machine must have high mechanical compliance, then they should be able to assist patient in completing desired movements. So whatever a person or patient desires, that machine could do and can do in a proper way. Then minimum assistance level. Assistance should be minimal so that it gives opportunity to the human to complete a task. So for example, if a patient is having stroke and he is not able to move his hand, so a machine can help a human to move his hand, but it will only assist it. It will not complete the task. Okay. Now, Moreso et al. Has said that there should be again high mechanical compliance, large range of force, minimum assistance level, soft haptic interaction for proprioceptive awareness, and adaptive assistance properties should be there in a neuro robot. Similar is Beldalois. Beldalois has said more about repeatability, like the motion should get repeated. Then increase training motivation through interactive biofeedback. So biofeedback is a new term here. So biofeedback is basically like whatever a person is doing, he should get a feedback of that. Like if he's moving, he can see his legs or leg prints visually, or he can hear sound, he can get some vibration. So whatever way, he should get a feedback of whatever the movement or anything he is doing. So he said that the neuro robot must consist of a feedback mechanism so that a person or a patient can be motivated. Because if a person is not knowing what exactly he is doing and does it going in any and is it benefiting or not, that must be shown on biofeedback. Like that must be inculcated in biofeedback. The neurorobotics must consist of biofeedback mechanism. It's like an objective and quantifiable measures of subject performance. Now it's not like that the subject is doing any kind of movement and it is not able to quantify like how much he is doing. That is very necessary. The subject we must the neuro robot must able to tell that what subject is performing and at what level the quantity should come, that this much he is performing today. For example, I have took 2 blocks today, another day I'm taking 4 blocks to the same time. So I must be knowing that, okay, yes, these are 2 blocks which I'm taking today, and next day I have 4 blocks I'm taking. So I'm able to quantify my like my progress. So similarly, whatever the thing the human is doing, that machine or sorry, the neuro robot must be able to quantify that measure. Now, Des et al. Has said that standardizing training sessions will be there, intensive training, relieve therapists from physically demanding work, and objective and quantifiable measures of subject performance. So basically, Des et al. Has came to this that there should be standardized training sessions. It's not like that the training sessions are not standardized. Standardized. They must be followed everywhere. That neurorobot should follow the standards of the training session. Now that neurorobot should give intensive trainings. Then third is the relieve the therapist from physically demanding work. The physical therapist must get relief from the work which he's doing. For example, if doing some exercise and neurorobot is helping in that or something, so he must relieve the physical therapist from that work. It's not like the person is also doing and the robot is also doing. It can be there, no doubt in that, but it's a one of the proposal of this at all that it should actually relieve the therapist from any physically demanding work or reduce the work basically for the physiotherapist. Then same point, objective and quantifiable measure of subject performance. Now we are going to the next slide. So when we talk about properties of neurorobots, now they are the features which they have told, but we have taken these and these are the main features which we'll see in a neurorobot. First is it engages in a behavioral task. It has a behavioral task. The task should be behavioral. It should be inculcated in the like whatever the human is behaving or the task he is doing, it engages into that. It is oriented towards that. Now it is situated in a real world environment. So whatever the neurorobot is doing, it should be in a real world environment. Okay, like any task is doing, like for example, in this figure you can see a person is taking the glass and a neurorobot is helping him to put the glass in the another glass. So if you're putting that glass into another glass, there's a behavior oriented. We do that. And second thing is it's in a real world environment, as you can see. It's not a fake environment. It's a real world environment in which it is doing. It is a means to sense environmental cues and act upon its environment. So for example, what is environmental cues? Whatever the robot is performing, the new robot is performing, he must adapt to the environment, whatever he's doing. If there is some if this person has certain amount of weakness in his hand, and he's not able to perform this thing, so he should be the neurorobot should be able to decide that how much assistance he must be able to provide, like 20% resistance, 30% resistance, 40% assistance based on the weakness of the person. Now its behavior is controlled by a simulated nervous system having a design that reflects at some level the brain's architecture and dynamic. So it is strongly said that its behavior should be controlled by some simulated nervous system similar to ours. It must have some controlling power over it so that it reflects the level as the brain controls the body. Similarly, a neurorobot must have a centrally controlled system. As the system should be there to control the neurorobot as the brain controls the body. So these are the four features or four properties of neurorobot which must be there to make it a neurorobot and which can be inculcated in a neurorehabilitation. Now we come to types of neurorobots which we see in the environment. The types of neurorobots may or may not be taken to neurorehabilitation. You must need to understand that these types, some types are concluded in neurorehabilitation. Sometimes some types are not used in neurorehabilitation. The first type, which is quite famous, which is motor control and locomotion. Locomotion control has been mimicked using models or central pattern generators, clumps of neurons capable of driving repetitive behavior to make four-legged walking robots or two-legged walking robots. So as you can see, there is a machine and a person is moving. He is supported and the neurorobot is trying to help the patient to walk. So in this, you can see there is a central pattern generator. For example, what do you understand by a central pattern generator? For example, we respire. We respire through central pattern generators of the brain. So there is a central pattern, a pattern has been formed for breathing. So our brain follows that. Similarly, as you can see, walking has a pattern. So these kind of central pattern generator are used by the robot to make a person walk in a particular direction in a particular way when the person is not able to walk. And this is a repetitive behavior. Okay. So the central pattern generators and repetitive behavior is a key point here. For motor control and locomotion, these two things are taken into consideration, by which there are two-legged walking robots or even four-legged walking robots. Okay, so animals and humans both. So now we are coming to learning and memory system. So these are different kind of neurorobot which uses learning and which learn and which uses memory system. As you can see, there's a rat here who is eating a tasty food and its memory is generating in it, and he's trying to, engulf each and every taste and senses, whatever he can from that kind of edible thing which is eating. So the thing is that robot also they are robot also neuro robots are made in a pattern. So they basically the scientists find that similarly, right, they can navigate very well in day and night. Okay, so their hippocampus is developed like that they can navigate. They can go anywhere they want to. As you can see, that rats are very good with navigation. They can go anywhere, anytime. And it has found that hippocampus is the area which helps them in navigation. So similarly, kind of robots are made which are actually replicate to hippocampal place cells, and which can help in navigation even in any environment of a like in any environment given. So they use rat spatial memory studies in that. Okay, so this category comes in learning and memory system. First was locomotor. This is learning and memory. Now, third is value system. Now, there is always a condition of action selection, good or bad, or you can say ethics. So, neurorobots can have been studied to simple ethical interaction. For example, in a boat, if the boat is sinking, then ethically, how if you want to let the children go first or the woman go first, you then to decide that what is good, what is bad in a particular environment or a particular scenario. So many robots are many neuro robots are made for this value system and action selection. So they are being used, and they are used in different kind of fields, but they are also neuro robots, and they help in action selection like good, this is good, and this is bad. So so action selection deals with negative or positive weighting to an action and its outcome. Neurorobots can and have been used to study simple ethical interactions such as the classical thought experimenting. So where there are more than a life craft can hold. Similarly, as I told, the boat example. However, more neurorobots use in the study of action selection content with much simpler persuasions such as self-preservation, perpetuation of the population of the robots in the study. Now, the fourth category is sensory perception. So, neuro robots have also been used to study the sensory perception, particularly vision. Vision is one of the sensory perception. So, there are primary systems, there are neuron models and sensory pathways in neuro robots, which helps them to even see what is there, and they can sensory perceive and do the task. So, as you can see, there is a robot here. He is lifting the food and putting it in one container. It's a very delicate task. It requires lots of precision, but even he is able to see the container, put it, perceive it, sense it, and then putting it back in a one container. So this can be done only by sensory perception. So this is a sensory perception model, as you can see here. Now, neurorobotics in neurorehabilitation. Now, the application of neurorobotics in neurorehabilitation. So, how we can see that, like neurorobotic qualities of neurorehabilitation robot, which we want is high mechanical compliance. Like they should be high mechanical, they not be mechanically stiff. Okay, mechanically stiff, they should be not, they should be mechanically compliant. They should be able to adjust with the everything in the environment. Minimum assistance level they should provide. So I am telling you about the neurorobotics in neurorehabilitation. First, we have discussed the general features of neurorobots. Okay, what features we see in neurorobots. Now, these are the qualities of neurorehabilitation robots, which we see in neurorehabilitation robots, which we will see further. Now, qualities of what are like high mechanical compliance, as I told, minimum assistance level, they should give a minimum assistance level as and when required. Okay, so they should be able to quantify the assistance level which they should provide. For example, like if again I'm taking the example of stroke as I took, that for doing any activity, if a patient requires 20% assistance, so the robot should be able to give 20% assistance, not 30%, because giving more assistance can deteriorate the condition because he will not be able to perform the task by its own because our brain is start to learning the patterns. So if the assistance is too much, then the patient will not able to do the task properly and there will be see less synaptic firings in the brain. Okay, so due to which there will be stress remodeling in the brain. So the assistance should be minimal as and much required, not more than that. The ability to assist patient in completing desired movement and intensive training. Now, large range of forces should be there. We should provide options for different kind of forces, adaptive assistance properties, and mentioned before, and repeatability. The robot should be able to repeat the patterns using interactive biofeedback to increase motivation. This is very important. Without biofeedback, we can't use neurorobots because biofeedback are necessary for humans to get motivated. Without getting motivation, they will not do any exercises or any tasks. So robots actually help the patient and they give a different dimension to the exercise also. Like it's quite interactive, and as I have worked in a clinic of neurorobotics, so it becomes quite interesting for the patient and quite interactive for the patient to work with neurorobots. So it's quite interesting. With biofeedback, it becomes very interesting to work with patients. Now, movement assistance or resistance that can be precisely controlled. So they can be precisely controlled. Even the small amount should be controlled. Okay. Objective and quantifiable measures of subject performance. The measures, there should be the performance should be we should be able to get the objective and quantifiable measure. Okay, we should be able to quantify and objectify the performance of the patient so that we can even show the progress to the patient on even for us for the both of the motivation that yes, the patient is progressing. Relieving a therapist from highly demanding physical effort. So again, we should relieve a therapist from highly demanding physical effort. So whatever, like if we have to make a patient walk, as you can see, there is a frame we can provide to the patient, which will require like 3 to 4 therapists. Okay. And the same thing can be done by a simple one exoskeleton of a robot, which we will see further. I will make you understand it better. So it should relieve a therapist from highly demanding physical effort. Now, these are the rehabilitation training programs which are widely used in different kind of field like physical therapy, speech and language, occupational therapy, and psychological therapy. So nowadays, we are using conventional therapies in that, like exercising based intervention with no or limited use of common electrical or mechanical devices within the scope of conventional physiotherapy or occupational therapy. If you ever visited a physiotherapy clinic, you should have seen like TENS, IFT, basic that kind of devices, which are all are mechanical devices. They don't have AI built in it. Okay, so as I told you before, difference between mechanical devices and robots. So these all are mechanical devices, they are not robots until unless they have the power to adapt with the situation or scenarios. So these are exercise-based intervention, which we ideally use with the help of mechanical device in a particular physiotherapy setup or occupational therapy setup. So in the experimentation, what is coming? These are many kind of therapies which are coming up. First is constant induced movement training. We constrain the part and we let the other part move. This is widely used in stroke patients. Then functional electrical stimulation, widely used in stroke patient, transelectrical nerve stimulation, force and position feedback, motor imagery therapy, music supported therapy, task oriented therapy, body vibration, and robot assisted training. These are experimental things which are coming up and which are technologies which are applied during the training programs. So in this, biofeedback is there, virtual reality, haptic, transparent magnetic stimulation, direct current stimulation, and brain machine interface. We will talk about it detail in next slide. So this is a slide just to make you understand that what conventional therapies we were using And now the world is moving toward this experimental therapies. It consists of robot assisted training also, okay, which comprise of biofeedback, virtual reality, haptics, and many kind of therapy, which is mentioned below. Now, robot based strategies, like there are two kind of things. These are main robot, which you have to understand here is that robots cannot work alone. They require technological supported feedback. For example, in CPU, you type, you get a feedback on the screen that something is being typed. There are some robots which don't give any feedback to us. Okay, they just do the work. Okay, they don't show. So, but when we talk about neurorehabilitation, we require a supported feedback. So we divide the neurorobots into three parts, like end effector, exoskeleton, and brain computer interface. Three parts, and which work with electrical stimulation, haptics, EMG based assistive control, and virtual reality. So these end effector may get combined with electrical stimulation, may get combined with haptics, may get combined with EMG, may get combined with virtual reality. It depends on the demand of the patient and what are the innovative ideas which are coming up of the ideas of the inventor. So he can use these kind of technological support feedback and combine with the robot-based framework which is there. So end effector, then exoskeletons are there, brain computer interface is there. So in next slides, I will tell you more detailed about it, but just understand this, that robot alone cannot help a patient, but it requires a technological supported feedback. Okay, and there's many assessment too, like as a physiotherapist, we also do assessment, and as a human too, we assess the patient and then we go back to the robot assisted training. So technological feedback is necessary with the assessment of the therapist. It's also required. Without that, we can't do the protocol. So first is end effector. So as you can see, this is an end effector, like it's a peripheral device that attached to a robot's wrist, allowing the robot to interact with its task. Most end effectors are mechanical or electromechanical and serve as grippers processed to a sensor. It can be unilateral or bilateral. This is mostly used for hands and wrist, and so hand basically. So basically, what the patient do? He hold the device and it kind of turn it for the shoulder movements. If the shoulder is affected, he kind of to enhance the shoulder movement or to reduce the spasticity, this is used. So in this, the patient uses hand, grab the end effector, and the end effector even modulates the assistance with the spasticity of the patient. Okay, if the spasticity is more, it will give the assistance. If the spasticity is less, it will reduce the assistance. Okay, so it's a very simple model of a neurorobot, which is an end effector. Only one periphery will be there, okay, or a one part will be there on which the patient will do the movement. And with this, there can be biofeedback can be added, like on the screen, the movement can be shown, or whatever the resistance the patient is applying can be shown, or in the form of like any haptic or vibration that can be added. So it can be in any kind of biofeedback thing, it can be added and shown to the patient. So this is the end effector. As you can see, there are 4 sensors, there is a motor, there are 2 motors connected to it. It's a one of the end effector prototype, which I have taken here. So this is the end effector. Next is this exoskeleton. You may have seen the exoskeleton, I think, many times. And this is one of the type of the neurorobot. Robotic exoskeleton are wearable electromechanical devices that have been developed as augmentative devices to enhance the physical performance of the wearer, or as the auxiliary device for gait rehabilitation or locomotion assistance. As you can see, this lady has worn exoskeleton. It is a supportive device. It gives assistance. It's a wearable device from it is where on the periphery and the trunk to stabilize the trunk too. As you can see, the trunk is also stabilized and she is able to walk. And as you can see, she was on a wheelchair. Okay, so she is able to walk properly with the exoskeleton. It enhances the physical performance of the wearer. As you can see now, the physical performance is able to walk very properly with the wearing of the whole exoskeleton. And in this exoskeleton, there can be partial exoskeleton, there will be full exoskeleton. partial exoskeleton, like only for the legs, only for the hands. Okay. And full exoskeleton, as in the example, as this is a full exoskeleton she has worn. Okay. And she is able to walk, but it's not in the handwork. But still, it will come in a category of partial, not full. It's a partial exoskeleton. If the hands were covered, it's a full exoskeleton. So for partial exoskeleton, till leg or trunk, and full exoskeleton head, hand, leg, trunk. If all are covered, then full exoskeleton. And this is widely being used now. It's quite famous, this technology, and it is widely applied. Now, third thing is brain-computer interface. This is widely used, the brain-computer interface. Basically, brain-computer interface use neural activity to directly control external device with real-time feedback. So as you can see in this video, a lady is just thinking. She's not doing, she's just thinking. And electrodes are connected to the lady's brain, and the hand is moving of the robot. So actually, basically, it's her hand only, and the robot is just picking up the signals from the brain to do the activity whatever she desires. Okay, so basically our neural transmissions are basically converted into coding, and then this robots read that. As I said, robots have a particular language, the coded language which they understand. So this, so the language of the brain, which is the neural connections of the brain, the whatever the transmissions are occurring, we think whatever we think that the neural transmission is happening. So this is interpreted and this is changed into coding language to perform the task. So this is a brain computer interface. Okay, it's a proper feedback device, and it basically helps the use the plasticity of the brain. Like it enhances the plasticity of the brain, because even if she's not doing, but still she is creating a map in his mind, and she is getting a feedback that the robot is picking up and doing that action. Okay, so it is basically creating that loop in her mind, which may come in the real field. Like she may be able to, because she is activating the motor area. Okay, and she is seeing the feedback is there. This can actually help the patient even to recover at some point of time when that motor pattern is very strong. So this can be used, and this can also be used an assisted device for the patient to do his home course. So this can be a very good rehabilitation device. So this brain computer interface is a very interesting neurorobotic device which can be used with for the patient. Now, ethical consideration is always there, because whenever we're doing with robots, because there should be ethical consideration. We all are bound, and neurorobots have come into the human environment. And as we all humans follow some ethics, they also have to follow some ethics. So for robots, these are three ethical principles which a robot must follow. And these are: a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allows a human being to come to harm, or allows any human being to come to harm. So it can't harm any human being. That's the first law. In the first law, it says that by any action, human being must not be harmed. Second law is that robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. So he should have to follow the orders of the human beings. He should must not follow only when then there's a chance of getting a human being getting hurt. Okay, so he can go to the first law. So first law is main, then comes the second law, then comes the third law, which is a robot must protect its own existence. Okay, he must able to protect himself also. Okay, but if the like if I say human on robot, then of course the human first, robots last. So robots have to save human first, rather than going for self-preservation. They have to last, but the humans are first. They have to always take care that human don't get hurt in the whole process. They have to take command of the humans. Okay, and the third law is they have to self-preserve themselves. So these are the three ethical consideration for the neurorobots. Now let's talk future scope. So in future scope, like there's a growing prevalence of neurological disorder, as you all know, like brain stroke, Parkinsonism disease, multiple sclerosis, cerebral palsy. So all these kind of neurorehabilitating conditions have given rising awareness about neurorehabilitation devices, and it is driving the global neurorehabilitation market. So an increase in funding for research and development with devices and more approvals by regulatory agencies contribute to the global market growth. So some of the primary factors that may slow down the growth of global neurorehabilitation market, it's high cost, but with researches, we come to different options and the cost can be reduced. As you can see, when a new mobile is launched, it's quite expensive. But later on, when the technologies get more advanced and advanced, so the same phone will become cheap and we can afford it after some time. So it requires more and more research, and there will be more and more alternatives in neurorehabilitation. So, and the neurorehabilitation device market size is valued up to 0.7 billion in 2021, and it projected to grow to 0.75 billion in 2022 and 1.2 billion by 2030. It has a good annual growth rate of 7.90%. Now, my last topic, which is the modern advancement. So these are two platforms which are coming from modern enhancement. It is cognitive assessment living ambient system. So cognitive ambient assisting living ambient system is like you all have Google Home at your place. You have which can control light, which can control everything in your home. So that kind of assistance is coming in the neurorobotics market. So they can assist the patient like that by using these kind of technologies. Second is hyper project. So this is actually a implementation or mixing up of 2 or 3 kind of technologies. Like it's a hybrid information exoskeletal robots, ER, exoskeletal, as I told that is an exoskeletal model. They are kind of variables. As you can see, this guy has wear the exoskeletal model, and motor neuro prosthesis. There are some neural networks which are provided, and there are virtual reality which can be used, and there is brain neuro machine interface inculcated with this. So they have just combined all of these things in one place, and this is coming as an hyper project. This system will deal with variability in human neuromuscular structure with dynamic adaptation. The proposed approach will promote both sensory and motor control retaining and brain plasticity. This will lead to potential rehabilitation solution for stroke and cerebral palsy patient, and to functional compensation solution for spinal cord injury patient. So these hyper project is a combination of whatever we have learned till now, and it's an upcoming project which can benefit all of us in the future. So these are the two modern advancements. So with this, I complete my presentation. So over to Himanshu. Thank you very much all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this insightful session. Thank you so much for actually coming in and sir, crediting your time for all of us. And like when you were sir, telling about this one slide, wherein there was this machine that was actually transforming human thought into the codes, right? And hence that machine. I mean, I think I'll not be able to use some the technical terms, but again, this was what was happening is I think there's this machine that was tied to one lady's head or maybe the body, and they were transforming the thinking into the codes, and hence the machine was doing things. So I was just wondering how much time would it take, in real time, for that machine to transform that idea into a code and hence do that thing.
Well, that requires quite training. It's not so easy for that lady because the machine also has to learn all the process on neural network. So even machine, if we apply that machine, then lady also has to, work with the machine so that it's able to contact that there should be that when the system gets updated, like Windows only, if you update the system, it takes time to get all things synchronized. So the syncing of the machine with the human brain, it takes time, and that whole thing requires some session, and there the role of physiotherapist come. We train them with all of that things, and then that machine start doing the task. So it takes quite some time, like 2 to 3 days, or depend on the intensity of the session and even on the condition of the patient. But if it's done nicely, then it can produce result very instantaneously.
Sir, is it like that we train the machine as well as the patient to think in a, maybe in a certain way, so that that information goes to the machine, and hence machine and patient can work synchronized in a synchronized way?
I would train the patient also, because whatever thing machine is already trained, machine is
Okay.
already, but we have to train the patient to give those commands to. Because if because what happens, Himanshi, like if the patient is having any condition, okay, it tends to forget all those things.
Right.
Okay, if I am able to lift my hand, she will not, because she has lost those patterns. She has forgotten all of that thing because of the brain insult or anything. So first she has to get used to all that. She has to learn everything. Then slowly she will be able to lift that thing. Okay. So as I said, it depends on the condition of the patient and the practice and the intensive training of the patient. Machine is there, machine will do its job, but it basically works on the right command. The command should be right. Okay. So if the command is right, then output will also be right. I
Right.
hope I answered your query.
Yeah, sure, sir. And sir, extending this question, what are those challenges then and the limitations also of this neurorobotics and in neurorehabilitation, if I may ask? And like what all researches might be presently happening that can actually overcome those challenges? If you could maybe tell us.
Well, as I said, robots and humans are they have to work together, because robots can never be perfect. Okay. So whatever the cons of the robots are, they have to be supplemented by the humans. Okay. They always have to work together. The challenges is only is that, like, robots, as we said, that they don't have any ethical consideration.
Okay.
Okay. So, and second thing is that they work on the command. So they are kind of like a person which you will say and he will do. He will not use his brain much. But now with the coming of AI, with the present system of AI, because AI itself is learning, it's in
Yeah.
learning phase. It's learning from the human only. We are also his experimental subjects. We all are. So basically, AI is learning. If that becomes strong, AI becomes strong, and that can be inculcated with the robots. Okay, then that can create wonders. I think then the limitation of the robotics can be removed, but it will take some time. And as I said about upcoming researches, like Hyper is one of them, which I mentioned, and that assessment one, like the intellect, like intelligent system, which is coming up, like which you like Google Smart Home, everything, which controls everything in the home. So kind of like that logic is used, and the services will be provided to the patient in the home in a particular rehabilitative setup.
Sure. Thank you, sir. And last question, extending the same the discussion that we're having, is what are those real world examples then, or success stories that might have, where it is showcased the positive impact of this neurorobotics and neurorehabilitation? Like, is there any maybe proof in a layman word, if I can say? Uh,
Well, there are many proofs. I can say I am, because I have worked in a neurorobotics department, and you can research like if like there are many successful clinicians who are working in neurorobotics, and they have found a wonderful. And even myself, I work with many patients, and I can't name them, but yes, they were like there with a lots of insult. With cerebral insult and infarct, they were there. So this kind of neurorobotics actually help them, because it becomes quite interesting for the patient to work with neurorobotics because of feedback. Because as you know, like when computer was introduced and they have a feedback mechanism, a screen and a speaker and everything, it's become quite interesting, quite interactive. Okay, but if a human is doing, okay, so for how much time a human can talk to another person? It's like a limited level. So, but if the same time that he is able to interact and with the help of a human is also there. He has not gone. He's helping out. So they become both together, and basically in real life, if I say like I have seen patient getting benefited in just 1 week, going back to normal in 1 week, compared to a normal human protocol, which would have taken 1 month.
right.
So there are lots of wonders in this.
I'm sure. And thank you, sir. And I think students, what you can do is there's one way. from where you can have all these practical examples, is to come in here in the university and join us and get the experts like Piyush sir, and they will be actually helping you, monitoring you, and giving you the guidance so that you can excel in the field that you have chosen. And sir, there are some of the questions regarding how they can take the admissions and what all the fees and all these things are. So I would want to take your permission to show them a little about the site as well, so that they know that how the admission process is done.
Sure,
So
please.
yeah, thank you so much, sir. So for this, Harsha, you just wanted to know that how, just give me a moment, how the admission, how basically you can take the admission. So I will be just sharing my screen. Yeah, I believe my screen is visible to all. So this one-shot resolution to every query regarding fee structure or the placements or the admissions is the site. That is lpu.in. You go to this site, you come open this in browser, and this will be the interface that will be coming in front of you. Now, these are all the highlights of the university that might have happened or that might happen in the near future or maybe presently happening. So you can just explore the site, and I promise you wouldn't regret that. Now, going to the admissions, you simply go to the site and click on admissions here. And once you click on the admission, we have a different program that are very beautifully segregated. You can see after 12th, after graduation, after postgrad, after 10th, doctoral, postdoctoral, etc., etc. So you can just go to the course that you want to. So I'm just taking an example of, let's say you are a 12th passed out student and want to take an admission in an undergrad program, right? You simply go to after 12th undergrad regular programs. And once you click on the regular programs, there will be a whole lot of disciplines that would be visible in front of you. Now you can choose any of the discipline. See, we have different disciplines in here. When you name any of the discipline, and we have it here: engineering, sciences, arts, history, design, planning, management, etc. Since we were talking a lot about physiotherapy today, just taking an example of the same, I clicked on physiotherapy, the discipline. And once you click on the discipline, the programs that are offered under that discipline would be visible to you. So I clicked physiotherapy, and the program is Bachelor's of Physiotherapy, BPT. I click on the course, and here you will be finding all the details, the program detail, highlight, curriculum, fee, scholarship, program outcomes. And the question was how you can apply. So you simply either go to how to apply, or there is an option that is highlighted, apply now. You click on the apply now option. You just fill up the bare minimum requirements that are asked here, and you click on submit. After that, you will be given your dashboard. From there, you can simply apply for the test or the course that you want to. I hope that I've given you a brief view as to what is needed in order, for you to take admission in the university. Let's say you have other queries that I could not address here right now. Either you can write in the chat box, or what you can do is you simply schedule a call with our counselors, either WhatsApp us or have a live video counseling session as well. So you can choose any of the option, and our counselors will be here to provide their assistance, their knowledge, and hence resolving the queries that you have. So I believe that the admission process is clear, Harsha. If you could maybe reply in the chat box, that would be great. And with this, Piyush sir, I would want to take your permission to wrap this session up. Shall I?
Thank you. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving this presentation, informative presentation, basically. And it's indeed a very new topic for me also. And indeed, I think it must have been a new topic for the students, attendees also. They must have learned good amount of new technologies that are there to help, if I may say, humanity. And also, I just want to say thanks to all the attendees who have joined us for this long hour. Thank you so much. And the questions you've given us are really appreciated. With this, I take your leave and meet you soon, maybe in the next webinar. And until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so much for joining in.